Hello there, welcome back to Rediscover Psychological Services YouTube channel. I'm Trevor and this is Wanda Chevrette. She is the Managing Director, Psychologist, and owner of Rediscover Psychological Services. She's everything. She's the psychologist. She manages the business, does the marketing, she does everything. So today our discussion is going to be 5 ways to manage emotional flooding in relationship conflict. Now, that topic was new to me, so I'm going to learn something today, and I'm sure you guys will learn something today if you're watching this. Wanda is a wealth of knowledge in the... You went to school long enough, so...
Oh, right.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I'm an expert here, okay.
Yes, I'm almost a doctor. So yeah, she has all the ins and outs of this, and it's going to be very helpful for you, so stay tuned. But I'm going to start off first with a quote from Erik Erikson. Life doesn't make any sense without interdependence. We need each other, and the sooner we learn that, the better for us all. Mm-hmm. So true, so true. You love that one?
And I love him.
Yeah, Erik Erikson. I don't know much about him. Tell me a story.
Oh,
Who is Erik Erikson?
He is a huge psychologist. Well, maybe he's behavioral specialist, but yeah, he's come up with a lot of great theories for psychology, and yeah, he's just a really...
You like his stuff?
I really like his stuff, and he's fundamental to us, so yeah.
Awesome. Well, there you go. I know nothing about that world. I'm not in that world, but Erik Erikson, check out his books. And then you'll write a book as well, right? He's the expert. All right. But you're also an expert in the field, and you're in the Edmonton area. You have 3 different locations here in Edmonton. You've got Fulton Place, and you've got downtown. And where's the other one? In the West End? In the West End. So we've got 3 locations to serve you. No matter what part of the city you're in, you can catch an Uber, a cab. Wanda will pick you up.
No, I won't
Just
pick
kidding.
you up. Boundaries.
There are certain things we don't do. All right.
It's one of them. I'm not good at driving.
Shh, don't admit that. Your insurance company may be watching.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so let's jump into this because, like I said, this morning when we presented this topic, I have no idea what this is, emotional flooding. So tell the viewers, what is emotional flooding?
Well, really, it goes by many, many names. However, it's just really a way of saying that we get overwhelmed in emotion and unable to cope really with our emotions. So our emotional brain kind of turns on and is flooded. And so, yeah, that's what emotional flooding means.
Okay, so just being overwhelmed and not knowing how to properly deal with those feelings, the overwhelmedness of those emotions. Okay, great. So the first way to manage emotional flooding is identify. So help us with that one, identifying when that happens, and let's get into that a little bit.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is being able to identify in ourselves when we are feeling a certain way, and what we call the SUD scale, so subjective units of distress, big word, but really what it really means is on a scale from 0 to 10, 10 being the most emotion, whatever that emotion is, and 0 being, hey, I'm sleeping now, I'm relaxed. Where are you on that scale at any given time? So if you imagine, let's say, anger, and 10 for you is, slamming a door, then we need to just understand what is 0, what is 10, and where are you on that scale at any given time. So identifying your emotions, being able to put a label to it. Okay, so that's step number 1. And you help people with this to identify those different levels for them? Yeah, of course, with working with them, them kind of knowing what their emotion is, and the trick is to when you're in a situation to identify them. So, I mean, it's good and well to say, oh yeah, right now I'm at 3. But when you're in your relationship, if you're in a conflict, being able to identify it then. We want to practice before we get to that point. So always just checking in with yourself, doing check-ins daily. Where am I right now on the scale? And what does this feel like?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, good. I like that one. So identifying where you're at and just having more thoughtfulness into where you're at any
Body
given time.
awareness, yeah. Having more body awareness and more insight to what you are feeling. Because I think a lot of people don't have that emotional awareness component. I hear people go, oh yeah, I just go to 10 right away. Well, there's always steps in between, and so slowing it down and identifying that for yourself.
Yeah, if you go from 0 to 10, there's something else going on. Or you're not identifying the triggers along the way to getting there.
Exactly. And that's really what it is identifying what those triggers are, right? Or identifying what's going on in your body. Identifying triggers is another point, but.
Yeah, okay. So that's another thing. That's another video. We'll come up in another day. All right. So let's go to number 2. Take steps to de-escalate before it passes the point of tolerance. So that is another way to manage emotional flooding. So talk a little bit about that.
Okay, so the first step is identifying, and then if you are kind of climbing up that scale of the SUD scale, what you want to do is you want to acknowledge it and then put those steps in place that help you de-escalate. So that could be going for a walk. That could be, some people play video games. That's an escapist thing, but that is an example of it. So just doing something that helps you calm your nervous system so you can be back at a tolerable level for you. And of course, everybody's different. Everybody will climb up that scale differently. Everybody will be at a calm differently. And so finding what that is for you and then being able to do those things to help yourself de-escalate before you approach the situation, especially with your spouse.
Okay, great. De-escalate before it passes the point of tolerance. That's the second one. Now, the third way to manage emotional flooding is provide your partner with space to self-soothe. What does that mean, and what does that look like?
So a lot of the times when we hear when couples come to us, we hear this pursue withdrawal kind of pattern in relationships where, we have the pursuer who wants to end the argument. Somehow they want to come up with a solution to this argument, and then we have somebody who's been emotionally flooded that kind of, withdraws from the relationship completely. And so part of our work is helping couples learn to identify when that is. And then providing the communication tools to help them communicate as a partnership when they need space and allowing your partner to have space. Oftentimes what happens is we have these abandonment kind of feelings that come up for us when our partner leaves, or they think that the relationship's going to come to an end. So coming to an understanding that it's not, they're actually trying to save this relationship by walking away because they're emotional flooded. We don't want to escalate this any further, so I'm going to walk away, but then allowing your partner to do so.
Okay, that's very good. Very good tip. And, having that understanding for someone who maybe has those abandonment, issues, to understand that, walking away is a good thing. It actually will help things move forward in a better and healthy way, rather than turning into something that could be, volatile, dangerous, and bad for your relationship.
Yeah, because that can lead to, of course, if you're not allowing a person to leave the situation, that can obviously escalate to bigger things and create a dangerous position.
Yeah, we don't want that. So number four way to manage emotional flooding in relationship conflict: accept your partner's influence and repairs. So tell us a little bit about that step and what that means.
Yeah, so generally, and this is something we also help couples with, is being able to do repairs within conflict. So you've done something, you kind of acknowledge that you've done something, and then say, I'm so sorry, I said that. That was uncalled for. That's a repair attempt, and that can be at any time during a conflict. So sometimes being able to accept that influence and accept that will help de-escalate the situation. And so that also can help your partner kind of stabilize and de-escalate in that situation, so they're not becoming emotionally flooded.
Okay, great. I love that. So accepting that partner's influence and repair, so letting that happen. The last step to manage emotional flooding in a relationship is recognizing your partner's triggers and approach gentle through gentle start up. Is that right? Okay. So tell us a little bit about that. I know we mentioned something about triggers earlier. Let's get into that step.
Yeah, so I mean, generally it is up to us to manage our emotions. So all the other steps, identifying, being able to de-escalate. But sometimes if we know our partner really well, we know what buttons to push, so we also know what buttons to stay away from.
Right.
So if we're in the middle of conflict and we know, okay, our partner's going to be set off by this, it's contemptuous to continue on in that direction.
Right.
When we know, okay, our partner's going to be hurt, let's just hurt and aim for that. So really, if we know something's going to hurt our partner, we do something called gentle startup. So if we want to bring something to our partner that we know is going to be hurtful, we do it very gently. And it looks like this. And this is what Gottman kind of calls the gentle startup. I feel this is why, the reason I feel this way, and this is what I need from you. And so without the finger pointing, the blaming, because then of course our partner gets defensive and it makes it really hard to have that conversation.
Right.
But you're also wanting to communicate your needs and your complaints to your partner without the criticism and contempt.
Right, so it's not quite the walking on eggshells approach that some people think that might be, where you feel like you can't bring up any topic because the other person will fly off the handle. So is this something that you talk to both people in the relationship and say, hey, this is a way to handle this in a better format? And like, how would you help a couple, establish these, learn these triggers and this soft startup approach?
Yeah, so we generally do this with the Gottman framework, the Gottman method, where they come in and there's a lot of interventions, a rapport method, gentle startup, what we call the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, which is contempt, criticism, defensiveness, and stonewalling. And then we go through all that and we find the antidotes for the couple and help them adopt them within their relationship and help the communication patterns, because really that's what it comes down to, is just learning how to communicate effectively and do conflict effectively. It is healthy to have conflict, it's just how are we going to have it that's manageable and healthy for the couple.
Excellent. Well, that is it for this topic. Thank you, Wanda, so much for sharing with us. I know that this was helpful to somebody out there. If you are a couple in need of some extra help, just to learn how to communicate better, right? There's no shame at all in reaching out for some help. It shows a lot of strength and a lot of courage to show that you need some help. And calling up Wanda and her team at Rediscover Psychological Services is a good first step. So give them a call, send an email. You can even book right from their website through the Jane app, and they will be able to put you in the right spot. You can even get a 15-minute consultation with a therapist just to test the waters and see if it's going to be the right fit for you. Okay? So thank you so much for joining us today on our channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe and tell your friends, and stay tuned for some more videos from Wanda at Rediscover Psychological Services.
Thank you.